All right, folks, good afternoon. Sapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you another turn. This will be turn 5 of Main Battle Tank, 3rd Armor, elements of the 3rd Armor Division versus elements of the 28th Soviet Tank Regiment. So we just conducted the fire phase. I tried to do some indirect fire, which is something I've kind of been forgetting about. There's so many rules in this game. It's like you just gotta, as you get comfortable with the main rules, like in direct fire and moving and all that, then you just kind of add stuff on. It's been so long since I've played it that you tend to forget um, or not use a lot of the rules just because it's cumbersome. Um, so I had been forgetting indirect fire, and so I decided to do some indirect fire or try anyway. And I was going to put smoke. NATO was going to do some smoke in a line right about there, so it would basically keep all these dudes here. They wouldn't be able to shoot, wouldn't be able to return fire. So, but the smoke didn't get called in, because it's one of those things you got to roll a certain number on a table and it may or may not fall. Now, the pre plotted stuff, which is here and here, I think the pre plotted stuff will pretty much always fall because it's pre designated. And the U.S. Army actually does that. They have pre designated areas all over the place where you don't necessarily, I mean, you still have to have a forward observer on the ground, but the forward observer can say, hey, and I'm simplifying it a lot, but he can say, hey, this pre-plotted area here, go ahead and fire. And then the artillery, they just plug it in the computer and boom, and does everything for you. So anyway, long story short, indirect fire didn't work. So there's a lot of rules, reading the rules and cross-referencing and looking up things, and it's hard to find things in those rule books, only to roll the die and nothing happens, so wah wah. But on to the battle. So this area over here with Darkwing Ducks, moment of silence. The remainder of his platoon. All right, they're in a little bit of a combat over here. So Huey and Dewey, and by the way, NATO won the initiative, so they got to shoot first. So Huey and Dewey fired. There were 2 tanks here. You can see one was a hit, and it hit the explosive reactive armor, so there was no effect. But you still have to roll to see if there's a bail, and the crew bailed out, so that was lucky. And then the other Bradley hit the remaining tank, or one of the tanks, and hit the track. So that tank is now mobilized. But that tank returned fire on its turn, and then hit Dewey, and of course Dewey is now smoking wreckage. So half that platoon is now gone. We've got who's blue again? Blue is no, not blue. I'm sorry. This is green, right? Yeah, this is Mo. So these guys here, they can't shoot anything because this wood line is in the way. But this Bradley fired at one of these tanks here, at one of Rob's tanks, and we have a miss. And we'll go to the other side. So this helicopter's still being a pain in the butt. It's almost out of ammunition as far as the missiles go. So it fired here, and I think there was a hit, but there was a no effect or whatever. So nothing happened with that. We had this fist vehicle here fired at this group of tanks, and it looks like there was a hit and then a KO. So, or not tanks, they're BMPs. So basically, the Soviet version of Bradley fighting vehicle. So there's one dead Bradley there. Of course, the troops that they were carrying have already dismounted, so it was just the vehicle that got killed. The remaining BMP returned fire, and there was a miss. And then we had an exchange here. So, can't see it. There we go. So one of Ryan's guys fired at Rob's platoon and managed to kill Bellatrix. So Bellatrix is no longer with us. The remaining 2 tanks decided to return fire back. Oops, knocked that over. The remaining 2 tanks fired back. They got hits, but an M1 tank their armor's a little too strong. We were hoping to get a track hit or force the crew to bail out, but didn't roll in that favor. So that tank is still there and going to cause a problem for those guys. So all I have left now is to do some movement, and then that'll be it for this turn. All right, thanks. All right, everybody, I just finished up the movement phase. Obviously, movement's not the most exciting stuff in the world, but, you know, hey, it's all about positioning. All right, so here up on the hill, Ryan's guys, he had 2 tanks pull back. So they were here and here. They're pulling back. I think they're probably going to give up the hill because the Russians did make a push. Now, it's not a very strong push. But they've kind of decided, I think, that we're going to we'll fall back to here because we got this bridge right here that'll get us access into the town. Honestly, I don't think they're going to make it into the town, but anyway, that's kind of my thinking, because they're taking a lot of shots from this stupid helicopter here. It's only a matter of time before you get some kind of track hit or something like that, and then you're pretty much out of the fight. So they're probably going to pull back to, because those trees will offer some pretty good cover. So that's where we're at there. Of course, these infantrymen, they're charging this tank here. The bottom of that stack is a BMP. They pushed forward. They're kind of going after this guy. The 2 remaining tanks from that platoon, they moved from here up to here. And of course, the infantry are just kind of foot marching. The red platoon started from here. They moved to there. These guys stayed put. These guys stayed put. Let me pull that marker out of the way. All right, so that's that. That's the movement there. And then last but not least, not much went on here. Louis backing up down the road. This platoon took the hill, dismounted the infantry, so maybe we'll be able to get some RPG fire or something on this guy, on Huey. Don't know. We'll see what happens. We had this tank here. He basically made a cannonball run, came all the way up the road. So he's part of this platoon that's pretty much done. And then we had this Fister. He tried to get out of the woods but got bogged down. Basically, that means you just lose your turn movement. And then that Bradley moved over so that he's going to have some good line of fire that way. I think, I didn't really look at it, I think he might be covered by these woods from down there, but if not, he's probably a dead duck. So anyway, that is it for turn 5. Hope you guys have been enjoying it. All right, we'll catch y'all later.